What the hell terrorized the quiet little town of Enfield, Illinois back in the spring of 1973? Some say it was a cryptid. Others swear it was something out of this world. But the real story? It's even weirder, and it's creepy as hell. Enfield, Illinois, population 692. A small, sleepy town in the 1970s. The kind of place where nothing happens, like ever. Picture this. Quiet streets, a couple of diners, maybe a hardware store. The biggest excitement was the weekly bingo game. It was the kind of town where you'd leave your doors unlocked and let the kids run around till sundown. Peaceful, boring, and totally uneventful. Well, at least it was uneventful until the spring of 1973, when all that cozy, small-town charm got flipped on its fucking ass. Overnight, this quiet little speck on the map became ground zero for one of the weirdest, most batshit crazy mysteries to ever hit the Midwest. The kind of story that makes you double-check your locks and maybe sleep with the lights on. Out of nowhere, strange reports started trickling in. Things that didn't make sense. People talked about something lurking in the dark. Something no one could explain. And before anyone knew it, the entire town was buzzing with fear, whispers, and the unmistakable feeling that something was very wrong. But here's where shit hits the blender. It wasn't just some local ghost story that faded away with time. Oh, fuck no. Word got out. Fast. Newspapers picked it up. Monster hunters showed up, and soon everyone from cryptid enthusiasts to UFO hunters to your mom was talking about this tiny little Illinois town. Enfield went from "who the hell's ever heard of it?" to a name you'd hear in the same breath as Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. And yet, despite all the attention, despite all the theories and questions, the story kind of disappeared. It's not a household name like Mothman or Roswell, but maybe that makes it even creepier. Why doesn't anyone talk about it anymore? What really happened in Enfield? And why, nearly 50 years later, does this forgotten little town still make your skin crawl? Whatever went down in 1973 left an indelible scar, a mystery that refuses to stay buried. And now, we're digging it up. When it comes to creepy-ass creatures, Illinois is no stranger to a good legend or two. Sure, it's no Pacific Northwest, but this state's got its fair share of weird shit in its history. The kind of stuff that makes you think twice about walking alone at night. From the man-eating piazza bird in Alton to the weird humanoids spotted in the woods outside Chicago, Illinois has always been home to things that make you say, "What the fuck was that?" So when the Enfield Monster, aka the Enfield Horror, popped up in 1973, it wasn't completely out of left field. Let's break it down. Witnesses described the Enfield Monster as, well, fucking freaky. Picture this. It's around 4 to 5 feet tall, with short, stubby arms, kind of like T-Rex arms, but even weirder. Its eyes glowed a fiery red in the dark, like a pair of damn lasers. And get this, it supposedly had 3 fucking legs. Yeah, 3. Not the kind of thing you just make up after a few too many beers, right? Mushrooms, well, that's a different story. Its movements were jerky and unnatural, kinda glitchy, almost like it didn't belong here. And according to most accounts, its skin was slimy and made this chilling hissing noise like a pissed off wildcat mixed with a female scream. Now, when you hear that, your brain might immediately jump to other famous cryptids. Bigfoot comes to mind, sure, but the Enfield Monster was no hairy ape man. It's closer to something like the lizard man of Scape or Swamp. A creepy, otherworldly creature that seems to come out of nowhere, scares the absolute shit out of people, and then vanishes just as mysteriously. It has glowing red eyes too, and its sightings stirred up just as much fear and speculation. Could there be some kind of link? Maybe these glowing-eyed bastards are cousins or something. I did a video on the lizard man of Scape or Swamp. It's pretty fucking wild. I'll leave a link in the distinction. But the connections don't stop there. Illinois is rich with Native American history, and some folks have speculated that the Enfield Monster could tie back to those older, deeper legends. Native American folklore tells of supernatural beings, spirits, or shapeshifters. What if the monster wasn't just some random cryptid, but something with spiritual roots? Maybe it wasn't a creature in the traditional sense at all, but a warning or an omen. Hell, there's even a theory that it could have been some kind of pissed off guardian protecting sacred ground. Think about it. A creature that doesn't fit into any logical category and only appears when it damn well feels like it? That's got supernatural written all over it. Then again, it's entirely possible the Enfield Monster doesn't fit into any established category. This thing was so weird, so out there, that it might just be in a class of its own. Cryptids usually follow patterns. Bigfoot leaves tracks. The Loch Ness Monster sticks to the water. Chupacabra drains livestock. You get the idea. But the Enfield Monster? It's almost like it defied all the damn rules. It didn't just step into the realm of the strange. It kicked the door wide open and said, "Hey, damn it, look at me. I'm a fucking enigma." And maybe that's why the Enfield Monster sticks out so much in the world of cryptids. It doesn't fit neatly into the established folklore we already know. Sure, you can find parallels here and there. Mothman's eyes, Native American spirits, haunted Illinois history. But at the end of the day, it's its own beast, or spirit, or whatever the fuck it is. So what are we left with? A monster that's part cryptid, part spirit, part what the fuck even is that? It's one of those mysteries that keeps you up at night, thinking about the gaps in the story, the weird connections to other legends, and the possibility that something like this could still be out there. Because honestly, with a creature this strange, anything is possible. Let's kick off this grand shit show with the first encounter. It's April 25th, 1973, and Henry McDaniel is just a regular guy living in Enfield, Illinois. You know the type I'm talking about. Small town dude, minding his own damn business, coming home late from work around 10 p.m. When he walks in the house, his two kids, Henry Jr. and Lil, aged 12 and 15, are hiding behind some furniture. They said something was scratching on the front door. Then it started trying to remove the wall unit AC. It was trying to break into the house. They told him it had just happened as he was in the driveway. Henry, rubbing his chin, rationalized what it might be, when suddenly something started scratching on his front door. Somewhat cavalierly, Henry marched over to the front door and forcefully opened it. Hell yeah, Rambo that shit! Standing there just off his porch, staring back at him, is this thing. It's about 4.5 feet tall. It's got short-ass arms, like they couldn't even hold a cup of coffee if it tried. Its skin looked gray and slimy, and creepy as fuck. But the part that really gets Henry is its eyes. Big, glowing, pinkish red eyes the size of flashlights. And then there are the legs. 3 of them. Yeah, 3 fucking legs. Not 2, not 4 like a normal animal, but 3. The thing is just standing there, looking all kinds of wrong. Like it doesn't belong in this world. As Henry's freakout level is nearly maxed out, he slammed the front door and ran back to his closet and retrieved his pistol and a flashlight. Smart move. He figured maybe it's some neighborhood kid pulling a dumb prank, or at worst, a stray dog looking for trouble. But when he cracks open the door and shines his light out into the darkness, what he sees is definitely not a dog. Shit, it's not anything he's ever seen before. So what does Henry do? He fires off 4 shots, because of course he does. This is the Midwest in the 70s. If something freaky shows up on your doorstep, you don't just sit there and ask it about its fucking life story. You shoot the damn thing. But instead of going down, it lets out this ungodly hissing sound, like a pissed off wildcat, and bolts off into the darkness towards a railway embankment. Sounds like he at least hit it. And let me tell you, the way it moved wasn't normal either. Henry described it as bounding, not running, not hopping, but this weird, jerky, bouncing motion that no living thing should be able to pull off. It made 3 huge leaps that covered 50 feet. That breaks down to about 17 feet per leap, disappearing into the darkness faster than you'd think something that fucked up looking could move. Henry called the police to file a report. 2 state troopers arrived around midnight. When the police checked the yard, they found proof that what Henry had seen wasn't just some late-night bullshit. First, they noticed that the siding on his house by the front door was badly scratched up. They also saw odd-looking footprints. The footprints were strangely spaced, consistent with an abnormal gait. And these weren't your average animal tracks. They were round, kind of like a dog's, but with a 6-toed pattern instead of the normal 4-toed pattern. Former military, involved single father, widower, a hard worker, quiet, and not known to joke around. Henry wasn't the kind of guy to make shit up. The police found Henry to be rational and sober in his reporting of the incident. In a later press interview, Henry said, "If they do find it, they'll find more than one, and they won't be from this planet. I could tell you that." The police expanded their investigation and started asking neighbors if they'd seen or heard anything unusual. One of them said they had. Just a few hours before Henry McDaniel had his face-off with the weirdest shit he'd ever seen, a 10-year-old kid named Greg Garrett was outside playing in his yard. But then, out of nowhere, Greg's peaceful evening turned into something straight out of a nightmare. 2 hours before being seen by Henry McDaniel, this thing, and I mean thing because what the hell else do you call it, shows up at Greg's house. Greg later described it as this freaky little creature, short and hunched, with glowing red eyes that made his blood run ice cold on the spot. And if that wasn't bad enough, the monster didn't just look scary, it got aggressive. Greg stated that it rushed up to him and stepped on his foot with its weird-ass claws, tearing up his shoes to shit. Can you imagine being a kid, minding your own business, and then bam, some three-legged hellspawn decides to ruin your chucks? Greg, as fight or flight kicked in, didn't stick around to see what it wanted next. He bolted back inside, faster than he'd ever run in his life. Everything chilled out for a while until it was spotted again. Fast forward 2 weeks to May 6th. It's 3 a.m., that eerie-ass hour where everything feels a little fucked up. Henry McDaniel was woke up by the sound of wolves or dogs howling outside. He looked out toward the railroad tracks near his house, and holy shit, he saw it again. That same damn critter, the one with the glowing red eyes, stubby-ass arms, and, yep, those infamous 3 legs. This time, it's just chilling out there on the tracks like it owns the place. Henry watched in stunned disbelief as the thing moved over the train trestles. Its jerky, unnatural motions making it look like it's glitching in and out of reality. But here's where it gets crazy. Henry doesn't run for his gun this time. He just watches because, honestly, what the hell else are you supposed to do? He couldn't tackle it and wrestle with it. I mean, that's what I would have done. He knew from last time that shooting it didn't seem to do much good. Now, that's because you're shooting with a fucking pea shooter. Break out a .45 and see if all it does is hiss at you. Then, I'll be impressed. It didn't seem scared or even bothered. It just kept doing its thing, slowly moving along the tracks like it had some kind of purpose. And then, just like before, poof, it was gone. Whether it hopped, leapt, or disappeared into thin air, Henry didn't see where it went. By this point, Henry's got to be thinking, what the fuck is going on? It's one thing to see some freaky creature once and just write it off as a fluke. But twice? That's when shit gets real. And for Henry, this second sighting all but confirmed that whatever the hell this thing was, it wasn't done with Enfield yet. After word of Henry McDaniel's sightings hit the news, Enfield went from a sleepy little town to ground zero for Monster City. Cryptid enthusiasts, self-proclaimed monster hunters, and just about every freak with a flashlight and a rifle started pouring in from all over the damn country. People were desperate to catch a glimpse of whatever the hell this creature was, or better yet, take it out and have it mounted. On May 10th, 5 drunk young men rolled into town, guns in hand, ready to bag themselves a monster. According to them, they actually did see the creature while they were out hunting. They saw it hiding in some underbrush. They all opened fire at it. Hell, maybe they even hit it. But just like with Henry's encounter, the damn thing didn't go down. It took off at a speed greater than any human could achieve. These guys probably thought they were heroes, but the local cops weren't having it. In fact, the police didn't give two shits about their monster hunting adventure. They were more concerned about a bunch of rowdy, drunk dudes wandering the woods near subdivisions with loaded weapons. Yikes. The authorities quickly arrested the group for hunting violations, which is basically a polite way of saying, "Y'all too stupid and dangerous to be out here with loaded guns." Their story didn't end with proof, just more mystery. After Henry McDaniel's second sighting, shit started getting serious. This wasn't just a local gossip story anymore. People from all over the country wanted to know what the hell was going on in Enfield, Illinois. That's when Rick Rainbow... Okay, in the 1970s, I could see that. He was the news director of WWKI, a radio station out of Kokomo, Indiana. He decided to pack up his gear and head to Henry's house for some first-hand investigating. While checking out the area, Rick and his team spotted a tall, hulking figure moving strangely in an abandoned building. They described it as a Bigfoot-like creature, which only added more fuel to the cryptid fire already raging in town. The damn thing was massive and clearly not something you'd expect to run into. Rick said it disappeared before they could get close to it, but they heard this terrifying screech. Rick said he got a recording of the monster's scream. He said it sounded like a cross between a woman's scream and a baby's laughter. That's fucking twisted. Rick's sighting put a fresh layer of WTF on an already bizarre situation, proving this wasn't just Henry's problem anymore. Cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman was contacted and he investigated the case. He also took possession of the recording. The recording has never been released. On May 15, 1973, the 10-year-old witness, Greg Garrett's mother, was so overwhelmed by the people from all over the country overrunning their small town that she pressured her son into calling researchers at Western Illinois University. She coached him to admit that he made up the story just to tease Mr. McDaniel and to get some attention. To this day, Greg Garrett hasn't made a comment one way or the other about the incident. So, after all these sightings, one question still gnaws at you. What the hell was stalking the quiet town of Enfield? Glowing eyes, shadowy figures, and wild reports from terrified witnesses, yet not a single clear answer. Shit, could it be something as simple as hysteria? Or was there something far darker at play? There's more to these sightings than meets the eye. The explanations for this fucker are all over the place. All right, it's time to dive into the "what the fuck was that" portion of this saga. From hoaxes to a strange new cryptid to straight up alien shit, there's no shortage of wild-ass theories about the Enfield Monster. As a matter of fact, the Enfield Monster has the most explanations for a cryptid than I've ever came across before. Let's sort through the bullshit and see if any of these explanations can actually hold water, or just make it murkier. I know, that's a gross metaphor, and I don't give a shit. To start off, what if the whole damn thing was just a couple of bored locals fucking with everyone? Some folks think Henry McDaniel cooked up this monster tale for shits and giggles. A small town hoax to rile up the media and rake in some attention. Meh, it's possible. However, not likely due to just the way Henry was. Psychologists love to slap the mass hysteria sticker on any kind of weird shit people agree on. The theory is simple. One person freaks out, starts seeing glowing eyes and creepy monsters, and bam! The whole town's collectively shitting bricks over nothing. Fear spreads faster than a drunk chick's bad decisions. Sure, it could explain why everyone in Enfield was suddenly seeing this three-legged freak show. Our brains are pretty damn good at filling in the blanks when we're scared out of our minds. But let's get real for a second. How the fuck do you explain multiple people seeing the exact same glowing-eyed, slimy-skinned creature at different times? Were they all just tripping on small-town hysteria? Or was something real stalking those woods? Sorry, psychology bros, but this theory feels a little too convenient to explain away all the creepy-ass details. Then we have the kangaroo theory. The kangaroo theory. Some bright dipshit decided the Enfield Monster wasn't a monster at all. Just a fucking kangaroo that somehow got loose in Illinois. I mean, sure, kangaroos can leap up to 25 feet at full speed, and their yellow glowing eyes in the dark could spook the hell out of anyone. Their tail could also look like three legs at the right angle. But slimy skin? Red glowing eyes? Plus, Henry owned a kangaroo as a pet during his military service in Australia and was well acquainted with their appearance and behavior. He firmly stated, "That wasn't no kangaroo." Kangaroo footprints don't have 6 toes, so the kangaroo theory can take a giant fucking leap. Here we go. The wild ape theory. An anthropology student claimed the Enfield Monster was an escaped wild ape running amok in the woods. Amok. They argue its weird-ass movements, glowing eyes, and bizarre behavior might have been some pissed-off primate on the loose. But let's get real for a second. Apes don't have glowing red eyes, slimy skin, or 3 damn legs. This theory's desperately clinging to logic when the whole situation screams, what the fuck? In 1978, sociologists rolled out their social contagion theory, claiming the whole Enfield Monster episode was just people catching the crazy like a fucking virus. One person says they see a monster and boom, everyone's suddenly seeing it too. Fear spreads, stories grow, and the next thing you know, the whole town's losing their shit. Sure, humans are herd animals, but let's not ignore the legit witnesses here. Did fear make people imagine glowing red eyes, 3 legs, and that creepy-ass hopping gait? Doubtful. The theory sounds fancy, but it doesn't explain the chilling details. The cryptid theory. The one that gives us all goosebumps. Could the Enfield Monster be a legit creature that science hasn't fucking cataloged yet? Think about it. Glowing red eyes, slimy-ass skin, and those insane 3-legged hops don't match anything we know. It doesn't sound like your run-of-the-mill Bigfoot knockoff, but maybe it's some undiscovered species. A biological anomaly lurking in the shadows. Cryptids have a way of skirting human understanding, showing up in remote places like Illinois' backwoods just to fuck with us. What if the Enfield Monster isn't a ghost story or a hallucination, but proof of nature's weirdest secrets? It sure as hell keeps cryptid enthusiasts up at night, wondering if this thing is still out there, watching, waiting, maybe about to make a comeback. Here's where shit gets extra juicy. Ew. The alien theory. Some folks link the Enfield Monster to the several UFO sightings reported around the same fucking time. Coincidence? Hell no. Glowing red eyes, bizarre-ass movements, and an otherworldly vibe? It seems extraterrestrial. Maybe it was a scout testing our reactions, or just a lost alien pet causing chaos. Either way, the UFO connection adds another layer of fucked to an already batshit crazy story. And honestly, it just fits. And finally, what if the Enfield Monster wasn't flesh and blood at all, but some pissed off spirit or demon? Think about it. Glowing eyes, strange screeches, and those creepy movements. It all points to paranormal. Maybe this wasn't some cryptid, but an entity from another realm, slipping through the cracks into our world. Could it be a pissed off ghost haunting the town, or an interdimensional asshole with zero care for human norms? Hell, maybe it was a demon doing demon shit, just trying to mess with people's heads. The paranormal angle definitely adds the sinister vibes. This thing might be beyond our understanding. The Enfield Monster remains one of those fucked up tales that sticks with you long after the credits roll. It's not just about the sightings or the chaos it stirred. It's about the what ifs. What if Henry McDaniel wasn't exaggerating? What if Greg Garrett's torn up sneakers weren't just a kid's story? What the hell was lurking in that tiny Illinois town all those years ago? The deeper you dig, the weirder it gets. Theories stack up. Aliens, cryptids, hoaxes, but no one's pinned down a solid answer. That's the creepy ass part. It's a ghost story that refuses to die. A mystery that won't give you the satisfaction of closure. And honestly, maybe that's why it endures. So, next time you hear a strange noise outside your window at night, think about Enfield. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's not. Whatever haunted those woods in 1973 might still be out there, waiting. If you feel like this video kicked ass, tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. So, the Enfield Monster, what do y'all think about this fucking thing? 3 legs with beady red eyes and slimy? It seems like there's a joke there, I just can't think of it. And last, but definitely not least, check out my kick fucking ass merch. The link's down in the description. I've got Scarinator t-shirts and tanks, Stay Creepy t-shirts, tanks, mugs, stickers, and all kinds of epic stuff. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.